Ladies, welcome to this video. Coach Jerry here, and today, unlike most of the Mondays that we have our Zoom call, I'm basically just coming at you with a recording, with a live recording, and just gonna see for a second if I can put some better lighting here. I just realized that I didn't before, so now I'm all looking. Where is this thing? The connection of this thing. Cool. So, what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about one of the most misunderstood concepts, and I just did a full module inside the website for those of you that are in the course of what it really takes to not only understand weight loss, how to get results, but how to keep results, which is one of the things that is mostly underlooked. And what I'll do now, I'm basically going to open up the presentation tab, and I'm going to try to present to you this almost like these slides that I've been making for that almost like a condensed version of it, but most important because I really feel like this is something that must be shared, but also from you to be able to kind of like get something from, right? Now, this is basically what it is. And if you're here live, please let me know who you are. And I'm not gonna watch back no, I'm just gonna know that it's recording because it seems like it is. And then what we're gonna do here, we're gonna introduce a little bit more scientifically something that we went over on the call, on our group call on Friday, and it was something that made me understand that for all of you, should be important. Now, this is basically what it is, and this is a context of understanding that most of you, when you're near 40 and you can get results, you are either on getting your metabolism, not being able to lose weight, or you are ready to lose weight, but you know how to do it. And then few people, when there actually is like a ladder of success, you go up and you build a body, they get here, and like here, you feel like you basically losing weight is a mathematical equation, and then you get to this point and you're happy and you feel like you can just revert back to your old habits, right? This is like 99% of the industry itself. Also, how this, I mean, the industry itself, the biggest fat loss fallacy is like that they really promote dieting, which is basically 95% of people cannot diet. They lose results within best case scenario a few years, and then 75% of them, they will go back to really old habits and getting more weight they started with. Nobody really do identity reconnection, which is basically changing the person you are and creating weight loss that lasts. What we do here is getting you an understanding why this should happen, but also get you to understand that why this, how we're going to do that, right? We know that if you lose weight, so you feel in phase two, you must do so very much on a slower pace, right? Or you must do so very measured, like you see here when you do a body recomposition. Sometimes you don't necessarily lose a lot of weight, but you changing your body composition. Then you go from, you never want to say, I'm 25%, I'm going to go to, oh, sorry, I'm 35%, I'm going to go to 25%. There is going to be a range your body wants you to, when you get to 25%, your body want to fight back and want to get you back to 30%. This is kind of what it is. If you do like 95% of the people, when they stop a diet, they get 25%, they stop the diet, they eat more than they did before because of the hunger signals, they go back to probably maybe 35, maybe even 40%. What I'm going to teach you to do today is how, when you maintain, by nature, you're going to go back a little bit. You probably want to go back maximum to 30%, right? And then when you do it again, you're going to go work your way towards, say, 22%, right? So it's very important, because when we talked about in one of the videos in the past about set points and settling points, is that you cannot change your genetic like they hurt much, but what you can do is changing your settling points. It's changing the things that you can do to change, to make things happen again, to make results, right? The food availability. You can eat food that are less palatable. You can eat food that are higher in volume. You can increase your physical activity. You can increase your movement, or you can decrease your stress. And so the game is like between you losing weight and then getting more weight than you started with. It's really about understanding why these things are happening and what you can do instead. This is the weight loss phase and regain cycles, meaning like in real life, this is how it works. Unlike what they tell you that you can just lose weight and keep it off and just go back to your old habits. This is by nature physiology how it works, and it's like you have a number of cells, fat cells. You basically get them to shrink when you lose weight, and you get them to increase in size when you gain back weight. Unlike when you're told most, maybe when you read, there is no hyperplasia, which is the number of cells, they're getting more fat cells. They said until 7 years old, like that, and now then it stops. The number is always the number. That's not accurate. In fact, there even if you do a lot of binges, you will gain more fat cells in number. This is why it's important to not keep losing weight and gaining weight back. This is why it's important when I get people to say inside a program, and I get them to a phone call. Okay, this is the game plan. What you want to start? I'm not ready right now. I think I'm gonna just wait. I'm gonna try intermittent fasting first. When you basically say that, you need to understand that there is a cost of action, but it's also a cost of inaction. When you do that, you basically you creating this problem. You're creating more fat cells, and you're getting this thing to become harder and harder. Some of you that might be inside this group, or maybe some of you, very few in the program, because most of them, you guys are getting really good results. But there are a few people that really struggle with this situation, is because you might have dieted so much in the past, you might have read stuff, you might have gone through, very extreme approaches, and this is what it creates, right? Why this situation is created is because you go from crash diet and you lose 4 kilo of fat and 2 of muscle, and then you go to a binge and you get back 5 plus 5 of fat, and then adjust a little bit of muscle. And as you see here, the trend is always like losing and gaining. But at the end of the day, you start with a good engine, then like even you are like here for a period of time, and then you regain everything back, right? And it's like, it looks like on the data, you go from 15%, 15 grams of kilo fat to 19 kilo fat. And sometimes you go from 25%, even the same weight, 25% body fat to 28%, which is of course not a win, right? And of course, the adaptation is like, that if you're losing weight, then your metabolism goes down, you encounter a plateau. The only way for you to keep going, if you reduce it even further, and then you're eating like maybe like 1,000 calories, right? And this is not doable, because if you do that, your hormones are going to fight back, your hunger is going to go up, your leptin, the fullness hormone, is going to go down. And at the end of the day, is a tug of war, which if you keep going, your sleep is going to be impacted, your energy level, your mood, and all that is going to force you to not want to be compliant with your diet, right? And again, this is what happens. It's like 95% dieting, 75 gain back the weight. Instead, what I want you to understand, these guys knows really well, aside from, let's say, I don't know, whatever they're using, but it's like, we didn't use anything, it would be the same thing. It's like these guys understand really well that there is a peak season, like on season, and there is an off season. And this is a concept I wanted to introduce about today, because it's like, if you understand this, you understand that you are 80 kilogram, you need to go to 70, right? That's your goal. Very rarely you're going to be able to do that from 80 to 70 at once. The whole industry wants you to believe that that's possible, but it's not. This is not. This is weight loss cycles. It's like, this is the cycle of the weight loss. Some of you are going to be able to get here to 75 and pretend you need to, actually, you are 80 and you want to go to 7. This is the same thing when you're 60 and 50, by the way. It's not like different. It's not in fact, when it's slower, it's more complicated. But let's say you are getting here by eating 1,500 calorie 3 workouts, 10,000 step, 8,000. I'm going to say, okay, good. You feel good. You want to keep going. We can keep going, right? Let's try a little bit more. But let's say you get here with 1,200 calorie and then 6 sessions, 12,000 steps. Very hard to do, right? So what I'm going to say to you is like, we're going to maintain for 2 months. Now, the best case scenario would be you maintain and you keep 75 kilo. This is exactly what should happen in the perfect world, but the world is not perfect. So the goal is like to not gain back 80 kilo. Remember, all the industry, they gain back 82 sometimes. Here is like, if you're in a position that you just reduce some workouts, you eat more, you kind of like walk less, you're gonna get to 77 and you're gonna stabilize that weight. Usually there is a 2 months, like if you took 2 months to lose 5 kilo, you're gonna probably took 2 months to maintain, or 4 months to maintain. this is the ratio. This is actually the truth. It's like we cannot beat physiology. This is what it is, right? So what you're gonna do whenever you're ready again, you're basically gonna avoid to regain the weight, and the next thing is gonna be like going down again and losing 73. So you're getting closer and closer, like the bodybuilder guy. If you see one of my favorite bodybuilder, Arnold Schwarzenegger, or like Ronnie Coleman and all these guys, when you see them in the first Olympia they won to the seventh time they won, every time they look hugely different, bigger, more shredded. But by they go to a bulk season, they go off season, right? So you need to understand that there is this cycle of maintenance, cycles of weight loss, cycle of ultimately the game is simple. It's like maintenance level is like you lose weight and you avoiding regaining all the weight back. You always want to regain a little bit less, and then you, whenever you're ready, mentally, physically, you want to be regaining all that. You want to be going to another stage, right? You always want to look better. This is why there is never an end work. Like I keep saying to this, all of you, there is never a end work. And those of you that are not in the program, in the course or anything, and you're watching this and you are here and you've seen a replay and you're in the group thinking that there is some sort of a magic bullet that is going to allow you to get your body and then you do nothing with it, then there is not, right? And this is why if we talk on the phone before and you are one of those, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to say, I respectfully feel like you should not be in my ecosystem, because like I cannot help you. Like if that's what your mind says, this is not the right fit, because at the end of the day, there is way for you to get results and to keep it, but you need to understand that you need to be willing to create a lifestyle. You need to be willing to not be so conditioned about the scale. This is why when you gain 1 kilo back, is it water? Is it muscle? We need to assess. But the ultimately is like, if you tripping about gaining 1 kilo back, the first thing you want to be changing is your mind. The second thing you want to be changing is your tactic. And the third thing is want to be changing is like, how can I compromise with whatever I'm willing to do so that I only gain back about a couple of kilo, right? This is exactly how maintenance works, by the way. Why do we call it in like identity reconnection? Because hopefully if you hate your body, when you start seeing how your body works and the good feeling that it gives you when you can go to that stage, you're probably gonna go from extrinsic motivation, like rewarding yourself to do a diet because you feel like you're losing weight, to intrinsic motivation to say, okay, I really love the process now. I really love the process. You know, if I share this with you and I want to share this with you, then I'm going to go to eat, because I did not do a lot of eating today, unlike what I'm saying. For instance, Mimi, right? Like this is a past client that we used to have. If you read here, look at the transformation she did, but she did that by rewarding herself with a gym session. This is intrinsic motivation at its best. Like you see, you come in with a very troubled past and you see like low self-esteem, low self-worth about your body. You change your body, and then you realize that by you changing the way you see yourself on the outside, you change on the inside, but then you have a responsibility for your own body to keep that changes, right? So the question is going to be, if I got here with 5 workouts a week, how can I do that with only 3 workouts a week? How can I just build a lifestyle and solidify this lifestyle and then keeping this for another 6 months so that I can then be ready over time to get to a success level. I was just on the call with Jen before, like I'm the new assistant coach, and I just said, it's like most people don't understand this part. It's like most people, whether they want to accept it or not, most people will need a coach forever. Most people will. Like, of course, people can decide whether or not they want to do stuff alone, but most people need to be on a health journey, not a weight loss journey, because weight loss is like, usually it's like, small weight loss and then life journey, small weight loss and then maintenance journey. It's like you're gonna be in this journey forever. Most of you are like those that are not genetically blessed will need to struggle more than other people. And it starts from understanding that in order for you to get to that journey, sometimes you need help if you don't know what to do. If you know what to do, that's great, but you need to understand how to get to the phase and maintain that results. And if you're super triggered, if you're like lose 10 kilo, I always say it's not about the 10 kilo. If you lose 10 kilo and then you are very triggered from the scale, you have not changed your identity at all, you will always struggle, because it's like you don't understand how that part works. You're not using the analogy of the bodybuilder or the athlete. You're not the athlete that there is on season and off season, because you don't value your self-worth or self-care of the sports that you're playing, and you value more the intrinsic motivation. You value more, okay, I only play this sport to win. If I don't win, I'm not going to play. That's no love for the sport. There's no love for yourself. This is the same like life. It's like, I'm always want to lose weight because I want to be good looking for a person, for instance, or I want to just looking for the bikini on the beach. Not understanding that you can easily go to the beach without being conditioned about yourself. Not understanding that, and I do this example with guys because that was me, but many guys are like this. You go to a bikini, you go to with the abs on the beach, and you feel like with the abs you're gonna get more women, for instance. That was like me, very young, for a long time. And like you realize that is not determined by that. It's determined by your own self-worth, by your own self-love, by your own self-confidence, right? And if you want to go to a beach with a bikini and you feel like everybody's watching you weird, or you feel like going with a perfect bikini is going to make it feel like, oh, it's going to be so flawless, I feel really good inside my body. Of course, that's good. That's going to boost your confidence, but it will not make your confidence, right? And if you attach yourself to that, to the scale, to that results, to how you are on a single day, you're working on intrinsic motivation, and it's never going to work. You need to see it like a journey, and you say, I'm gonna be like a sport athlete. If I don't win, I still want to get better next time. In fact, even if I win, I'm gonna, like, when you're talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger, one of my favorite bodybuilder of all time, in fact, one of the best in my opinion. Like, when he won the Olympia, he said, okay, next week I'm gonna win again, but I'm gonna look better winning it. I'm not gonna just win it. But if he didn't win, there are people that go second place or third place all the time. They come back and they want to win it again because they love the sport, because they love the process. I personally, in the last 20 years, which I started working out in 18, I think I probably, out of 20 years, and this is not a joke, I probably missed a day off, a month and a half of day off in 20 years. That means like on vacation, not working out, or missing what, like I never ever not went to the gym or did weights like in 20 years. A month and a half off. It's a lot of it's a lot of that shows you commitment, right? For the sport, right? And this is kind of like, because I love it, because I feel like it's a part of my life. Am I still going sometimes easy on myself and just putting some maintenance phases where I don't care? And now there is a summer and I throw in some more aggressive weight loss that pretends to me, which in my opinion, for me, would include full disclosure, it would include some fasting for me and some other stuff, but that's for me. It's different than what you guys gonna do for it. Yeah, I am, but it's like, do I like get triggered from today? Today I watch, actually, I watch my condition today on the mirror, and it's like I see a lot of, like, I feel myself like on the stomach a lot better. I see a lot more condition, a lot more vascularity, and I check the scale, is 2 kilo up, and it's like, if I would just go crazy for that, think about what I would do. I would probably like binge on 25 package of chips right now, right? So I know what's happening on the body. I understand there is weight loss and maintenance, and you use that to your advantage. I'm no longer triggered about that. Right now I'm single, right? And if I was shredded on beyond belief, would I probably look better? Probably, but is that making my own confidence? No, it's not. So it's like, you want to be really focusing on that as well. Not only understand the journey, but understand how the mind journey behind this journey is, because at the end of the day, phase 4, when it's like kind of like maintenance, we'll call it lifetime integration, it's more so reconnection and everything, it's important to understand you as the person you're becoming, because chances are, and I said it multiple times, you need to get to that state. Let's say I'm gonna use this example again. Let's say you are here, right? And you want to get to that state. You want to get to something like that, or like something like let's say you start from here, you want to get this. This everybody will notice, by the way. Is the lighting enough? But you will notice the vein here. You notice that there is no puffiness. You know, there is no cellulitis or something like that. This is a real change. Everybody will notice that. And you get there and you need to get your memory first. Like I said multiple times, they use this also in business. Like you need to get your first memory. You need to bust your butt to get there. But then when you get there, you always have only halfway through. And you need to understand that to keep these results, there are responsibility. You're no longer the person that says, oh, I'm not going to walk. Oh, should I really only walk 2 kilometers or not 3? I mean, are you really? No, it's like you're going to walk because you like to walk. Are you like doing the happy dance when you walk? No, but you need to do it. That's your responsibility, right? You say, I'm going to do 3 workouts. I'm not going to find an excuse to do 2. I'm going to do 4 or 3. Like you're going to do your best. This is how it works in real life. For the not the miracle genetic gifted people, that's how it works. That this is, and obviously I'm not here to give you anything different, any sort of magical bullet, but this is basically what it is, right? You need to get your memory first so that you understand that it's possible, right? Like if I were like 9% body fat, let's say almost like a shredded bodybuilder, I would probably be more into bodybuilding. I'll probably do contests. I never got to that point. In a way, like I never really committed myself to get there because I didn't think it was my way of being, even though I love the sport. And I would never say never, but I don't know if it's something that right now obviously doesn't, like my lifestyle doesn't allow it, both because either I'm working bunch of hours a day, or when I'm out, I want to enjoy my life. And I feel like that's also what makes a lot of you gravitate towards me, because more than a coach, I'm also like a human being. I'm empathizing with you when you're like, when you say, okay, I want to eat donuts or whatever, like emotional eating, whatever, like we empathize with each other. But you need to get your first memory. Like you need to get to the best version of yourself. You need to understand whatever that feels. You need to get to the perfect bikini, go to the beach, and probably seeing that not everybody turns around and watch you like maybe you thought you would, right? You need to get the opposite way. You need to get to that to that dress that it was 10 years ago, and then let's say your husband watch you with a different light, much like you thought it would, right? Like you need to get your first memory, whatever that is, whatever your why is. And again, there is no perfect why. Even if you're if you are a person that like is all about the look and everything, and you say I want to get that just to really play out my bikini and that's it, yeah, more power to you. I love that, right? It's like this is kind of like how I am too. Like why be ashamed, right? So, but you need to get to that memory first. If you haven't done it in the past, you need to do it. That's very, very, very important, because this is going to allow you to do one thing. It's like, while that's not going to be easy, that's possible to, like you say, it's possible to get there. Also possible to replicate it. It's possible to get better. It's possible to improve. But the worst case scenario is possible to get there. Some that struggles a lot, like inside a program, is because some people are either going back to a body that they had, perfect version of themselves. They just don't get there. They just want to pretend that it's easy to get there. But some other people, it's like they never got there and they feel like it's not possible. So you go back to my mindset call on last Monday, and you listen to that stuff, and you understand the power of belief. And you understand that if you're not going to believe it's possible, I mean, don't have me believe it's possible for you. Like, I'm not going to be able to do it for you. But if you believe, you're going to do the work. You're going to go to the extra mile. You're going to go through the door slammed in your face. You're going to go to the adaptation that your body will go through, and you feel like shit, but you do it anyway. Like, you need to actually go through that, right? And it's important because not everybody's journey is easy, right? Many people is hard. And it's about your persona you're becoming. It's like, are you going to let this be your excuse, or you're going to let this be your motivation to actually move forward, right? Type down if that's going to be your motivation or your excuse. This is really the only thing I want you to do here. If you have any question about this phase, which is, of course, not by chance, I don't talk a lot about this phase, because this phase is the most complicated. It's the most complicated, make people understand that you actually need to do this for a lifetime. But of course, what kind of coach would I be if I only tell you that it's good, right? Or easy, right? But it's like, it's more easy than you think when you start, like Mimi, I show you, when you see as a reward working out, then you're in a paid way of self-care, of self-love. And this is much more easy than you think. But if you're the person that is a quick fix, I encourage you to leave the group. It's like, if you want, I mean, I know that all the people working with me, they are not, because they are selected very carefully even before coming into either a course, even just by the course. But if you're in this group and you're one of the 1,000 people, 1,200, 1,300 people that are here, and there is about maybe, I don't know, 50, 60 people doing the work, and you're just watching and you're doing nothing, leave the group. Like, seriously, it's like we are not about quick fixes, and nor should you be about quick fixes. If you really love your results, if you love your stuff a little bit, if you really feel like that should be, if you want to go into a health journey, you either do the work or you shouldn't, honestly. And if you do the work, something's going to come up very interesting for you very soon. In fact, I started hinting that in my profile today. Go on my profile and comment, with a carb cycling challenge coming up, a really good challenge, something really different that been done before. So if you did love the challenges until now, you're going to love this one. It will require work. So, I'm really going to, especially if you are in the mastermind, it will be free for you. I highly suggest you take it. It would be dumb not to take this challenge, because if you're not in the mastermind, there will be a small commitment, something I think we'll see what it is, but probably $60, something like really cheap. But it will allow you to commit in yourself finally to do something, not just watching groups and not do anything. I highly suggest you take it, because it's something that will allow you to see a transformation in a very short period of time. We're running into the summer. We're gonna start in June. End May, probably early June, and it will be a very solid, quick transformation. We'll go as quick as possible for those, and for those of you that are hugely, if you have some metabolic adaptation, if you're not ready for it, I'm gonna advise on you what to do. There will be people working with me, some of you. But if you can take it and do the work, because it's going to be the faster way to see results, like faster way in a sense of you being beach ready, almost like, especially those of you that are already in a good place, being much ready to actually do that as well. Coach Jerry here, I hope you like this video. It wasn't planned. I was about to eat and then I said, okay, I'm not gonna be able to walk tonight anymore. Like, maybe later when it's super dark, but now I say, okay, let's just do it, because otherwise I would have done it tomorrow. But live videos are never going to be scheduled. It's going to basically be on my own schedule and based on availability. But usually we will have that challenge is going to be very much scheduled. And if those of you saying, I'm gonna, in fact, I'm not gonna say more about now, but I'm just saying, follow my Facebook, my profile, comment there, anything that comes up, because you're gonna see a very detailed pathway that is gonna be highlighted for this challenge. And with those of you that are working with me directly, do the work, post, take all the resources you can. You have a website that is growing all the time. This module to a much more extent, is in there already. There is things to read, there is things to watch. I mean, again, use all the resources. Like, you're here and you're not using it, it's like, that's like, I don't know what to tell you, like this, you're in the best place ever to get results. And we do guarantee results, but it's like, nobody really can guarantee for something, let's say, you don't do. But over here, you get the best chance to succeed for your own situation. If you're a woman that struggles with metabolism, maybe you're not 20 years old anymore, and in fact, if you're here, you should be either 30 something or more than 40. This is the best place to succeed, because 90% of the marketplace is forcing you on a diet with no context. If you have results from a diet, they don't have no idea how to make you come out of a diet, for the premise that there are too many people that don't know what they're doing, or they haven't been testing on people how to help people. We tested over 1,000 people at this point. We have mostly amazing results, and therefore use every single resources that you have. Hopefully you have a fantastic Monday. I'm going to go to eat, and I'm going to talk to you very soon. Take care and talk to you soon.